So let's do it.
Do it! Just do it!
What's shaking, bacon? Today we're going to break down a trip from last week. A kind of, late fall, early winter trip, I would say. It's getting kind of cold out here in Montana. The fish are definitely moved up into those slower water, those slower seams, and they're pretty congregated at the moment. You're going to see, and in this video, I'm going to kind of talk over the footage, kind of break down my movement and why maybe you aren't moving enough.
I'm not seeing enough movement.
Or maybe moving too much. There's kind of a balance, at least in the way that I move. Again, the way that I do things is not always the best for everyone or even the best in general, but this is what I do, and hopefully we can learn together, grow together. But this is kind of my thought process on movement and what I'm thinking about, when I'm being patient, when I'm being a little impatient, where I can kind of push the limits, where I can kind of, push time, especially because, I'm doing this all in preparation for competitions and stuff. I'm trying to break down the most efficient way to work the water, and it's great kind of looking back at the footage and seeing what went well, what went wrong, and kind of learning and growing together, kind of sharing with you. And I'm always open to feedback, polite feedback, but I'm always open to feedback on what you guys think I could be doing better, whether it be fishing wise or even with the videos and all that. So without further ado, let's hop into the video. You're just going to hear my voice and a bunch of fish being wrecked. So let's do it. So the very first thing I want you to see is how far away I am from this nice, juicy log. Let's be realistic. There's fish over there. Probably the biggest fish in the river, or the biggest fish in this spot at least, are over there close to the log. But I didn't fish it right away because you see I pick up this nice little rainbow right away. And he was sitting pretty close. Kind of get him in. When I turn back center, we'll kind of go over the spot a little bit better. Good looking rainbow, but you can see kind of right above my thumb, kind of that pocket that's right there. There is a rock in there that's kind of creating some structure. That fish was kind of about even with that rock, kind of laterally, kind of across river wise, and that fish was sitting a little bit above it. And if you notice, I didn't move. So this fish was almost located in the same spot, maybe about a foot or two farther downstream, or just about 6 inches farther across the river. But I didn't move my feet at all after catching that first fish, at least that I'm aware of. If anything, I moved downstream a little bit, but I didn't move any way farther across stream. Yeah, about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. Again, kind of in the same spot. You can see I'm fishing a little bit farther across, kind of working that inside seam. And kind of just looking down, you can see how shallow this water is. These fish aren't sitting super deep. And even you see the bow in my sighter right there. It's pretty windy. So I kind of put that nice bow in my sighter, and it kind of dangled just the tip of that sighter in the water, kind of to anchor it, and picked up that fish again just a little bit farther away. But if you notice where all three of those fish were caught, I haven't moved my feet yet. This cut clip, I think I took a step forward between that last fish and this clip. But all three of those fish came in very close proximity, and all without me moving farther outstream. So that's 3 fish where if I had hurried and been like, oh, I'm gonna go fish this log jam, wouldn't have caught. And kind of practicing for comps and thinking comp wise, I want to be picking up every fish possible. and that's one more. I pick up one. This one's a little farther across stream. There was kind of two rocks, and all four of these fish were kind of sitting in that area between the two rocks, but upstream of both of them. I will point that out. This fish right here specifically was hooked directly upstream within inches of that rock, and it's a nice white fish, which you can have your feelings about, but fish is a fish. So here, just kind of a clip, you kind of see I'm taking some steps upstream. This hole was kind of unique as it kind of channels towards the top. So kind of the top, kind of where that glare is about now, it's kind of narrow, and then it like widens towards the bottom. And unfortunately, you're just seeing me work this close seam and kind of picked up this little guy. It's kind of shallow there, but again, that's a fish that maybe we would have missed had we jumped. And this is just a little extra stuff, kind of you seeing me fish the water. Just to kind of talk about that channel again, I'll probably throw up a picture kind of drawing it out. But that channel kind of edges out and then it gets really deep. And I actually caught a bunch more fish towards that log. I fished that close edge all the way up, and then I came back down, stepped out basically to the middle of that channel, and worked through the rest of that run and picked up some really tight to the log. But now what you're seeing is just me kind of down below farther. Again, this is something I really was kind of focused on this log down below us now. I kind of knew there was going to be some good fish in there, and you'll see towards the end I catch a really nice cut bow out of it. But just kind of noticing these rocks kind of in these shallow depressions, these shallow buckets within this, if you look at this from the surface, this is a featureless run. But kind of analyzing the small pockets by, seeing the bottom structure, seeing the rocks, and not rushing to get to the other side of the river as fast as possible. And again, I had some error with my GoPro. I don't know if the video was too long, but I could only get 12 minutes from both videos. So you don't get to see the end, how I kind of come back down and then walk across the river and fish tighter to the other bank and find some more success. So you just have to take my word for it. But as I bring in this nice cut bow, just kind of trying to find that balance of being patient. One of the ways, I'm a very impatient fisherman, and one of the ways that I balance that is by I take small like half steps and single steps rather than moving like 5 or 6 steps. Just because I am impatient. Plus, sometimes just that little adjustment is all it takes to catch fish like this, and to put up an extra couple fish. But definitely a nice cut bow here. You'll see me take it out and put her back. But nice day of fishing. It was a nice 60-degree day in the end of November, so it's hard to beat that.